pull the curtains back.
Yeah, behind the curtain.
Exactly. It's always that like moment you see the little notification on the front and it just says you are live. I'm like, oh God. So
yeah, we have a responsibility now.
wait.
And
yeah.
If
exactly.
No one is watching the broadcast, is there a broadcast at all?
Exactly. That's it. Point. And also, I feel like some people will come in and be like, "Oh, describing a film. I saw that already." Oh, wait. All right. We have some people watching. Hi, guys.
Good evening, everyone.
The focus. Welcome to our 8 o'clock focus. This is the 4 to 5 session. So I guess we'll start with some introductions. Ladies first.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emily, and I am from the UK originally, from the middle of England, but now I am in Milan. I am a teacher at Milan Meravigli. And please, if you would like to introduce yourself, please write your name and where you are from as well, if you want to. Okay. And I'm here with
Cathal. I am also a fellow Meravigli teacher in Milan, and I am from Ireland. So I apologize for my accent in advance. Okay, we have one already. Fiorella. Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Fiorella. Nice to meet you.
Welcome to our focus. What school are you a student of, Fiorella? What school do you attend in MIS? We can get started with that. Oh, Fiorella is
from Milan.
I'm always quite scared sometimes whenever they say they're from Milan. I'm like, oh God, are they from our school?
Yes, absolutely.
So which Milan school? Filzi or Montenero or Meravigli? Please don't say Meravigli or else I'm going to be very embarrassed.
Yes, I don't remember Fiorella, but see. We have an Irish question.
Yeah, I guess I am ready for St. Patrick's Day, Filippo, yes, but I do not know what is going to happen because of all of these crazy things that are happening at the moment. So we will see.
Yeah, and good evening, Federico, also. Welcome. You're from Naples. Lovely.
Isabella Memoli from Meravigli. Yes.
Hi, nice to see you, Isabella.
All right. Exactly, Filippo, because of the virus, exactly.
Yes.
I feel like we will have a celebration, although it might be a Skype celebration. I will do a kind of a video call. I'll have a video call with my friends, my fellow Irish people. Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah. Okay.
So guys, we're going to do a focus 4 to 5 today. I guess, Emily, do you want to take the introduction there?
Of course, yeah. So we are talking about describing a film today. Please, if you like films, if you don't like films, let us know. We'd love to hear about what you enjoy. So in this focus activity, more specifically, we'll talk about describing the details of a film, exactly what happens in different films, and favorite film genres. So there we borrow from a French word there, genre, which just means the type of film, and asking questions about films.
Very nice. Excellent. Yes. So let's see. Are you a film enthusiast? Like watching films?
I am. I love watching films. I always call myself a baby cinephile, is what I call myself, because I love watching lots of different films, but I am not very experienced. So a cinephile is someone who loves cinema.
Wow, okay. A cinephile, a
Yes.
baby
So
cinephile
there,
is good.
and then I say a baby cinephile because I am quite new, quite new to
Okay.
cinema. So
Okay.
maybe we have some other cinephiles here who know more than me. What about
Hopefully,
you,
yeah.
Kahal? Do you like
Uh,
cinema?
I like movies for sure.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say I love the cinema per se purely
Sure,
because it's quite expensive to go there, you know.
that is
I
true.
I do have a big a video collection at home in Ireland.
Ah,
Like to collect DVDs and those of movies over and over
mhm.
again, you know.
Absolutely. Yes,
That's
I
kind of
know.
where
Mhm.
and so, what is your film or movie? What is your favorite
Oh,
film or movie, Anna?
see, this is a very, very difficult question for me because I like lots of films
Okay,
in lots of different ways. Um, for
right.
today, maybe I will talk about a very old but beautiful film, which is called The
Mm-hmm.
Red Shoes, which is quite
The
an
Red
old
Shoes.
film about a ballerina, about a dancer.
Oh,
We also have some comments. We have Filippo who's talking about Appuntamento at Wicker Park, which maybe date at Wicker Park. I know there is a film called The Wicker Man. I don't know if that is the same, but please let us know
okay.
what what that is about or why you like that film, Filippo. We'd love to hear more.
Yeah, why do you like it? Also, good evening to Alex from Riccione.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Very good. So the red shoes, Emily. And so
The
you,
red
why do you like the red shoes?
Well, there are partly because of the conversations that people have in it. It's very, very funny because of how people speak. It's also a very, very early film in color. So it looks very beautiful, very, very,
Oh,
very bright colors, which is
wow.
amazing.
Very
Good
good.
evening to Anna also. Welcome.
Hi,
And
Anna.
Fiorella, we have Madagascar. Yes,
Oh,
it's
great
a
film.
very, very funny film. I also
Love
like
that.
that film. Yeah, yeah. Do
I
you
love
know
the
Madagascar?
I love the music in Madagascar. It's like
Yes,
the moving of the music. It's great.
amazing. It is. Yeah, very funny. I need to watch that film again. It's a very good one.
Absolutely.
Uh, do you have a favorite film, Cahill?
I guess it's strange because my favorite film it changes all the time. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
at the moment, my favorite film is Ocean's 11.
Yeah, I like that
Um,
film.
yeah, like a very exciting and enthralling kind of thriller movie with a heist. I guess it's a heist movie. I guess you could call it.
Mm-hmm.
Starring George Clooney and Brad Pitt, amongst many other stars from Hollywood. So it's I like the kind of the mystery of how did this happen, like how did they do it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's a very exciting film.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mm.
We also need to mention the difference between film and movie for anyone.
Mm.
So yes, as Isabella actually just asked, so they are the same, but movie is more American and film more British.
Sure.
So, but now it's more common. I think movie is becoming more common. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. Film, very good. Yeah, as Filippo says, film is British and movie is American.
Mm-hmm.
And you can even say like if you were talking about the cinema, so usually like myself, I don't know about yourself, Emily, would you say
Hmm.
we're going to the cinema at the weekend? In
Hmm.
where in America, people might say we're going to the movies.
Absolutely,
A
yes.
phrase. So to the movies is kind of an American term, and so that's what
Hmm.
I associate with that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I use both of them, and
Hmm.
don't use one exclusively. Um,
No, I think I use film slightly more often, but both of them really. Similar to what you said about going to the movies. Some
mm,
British people also say going to the pictures, which is quite nice, like the
yeah,
moving pictures.
yeah,
Normally that's older people, but you can also hear it. If you speak to a British person, you sometimes hear that.
nice, nice, very good, excellent. Okay, let's have a look at the next question now. Oh, right. What is your favorite movie genre? So
Ah,
we mentioned earlier, what's a movie genre again, Emily? A movie genre.
so a movie genre is like a type of film.
Mm-hmm.
So I know
Okay.
that the pronunciation is very French there, genre.
And yeah, because sometimes even I have difficulties with the
Yeah,
John, like the name John, you
yeah.
know. But we must inner French person to be genre.
Hmm.
All right. So let's talk about the different types of movies that there. What type? Well, maybe first we'll ask the comment section, I guess. Can you tell us
Yes.
uh, types of genres? Do you know genres? Excuse me.
Yeah, and it can be anything at all. It can be a famous genre or something that you like particularly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The different genres. I'm going to practice that now. Genre.
Well,
Genre.
we still aren't doing the h sound. In French, they
Uh,
have this h. Anyway,
yeah, they have that.
so we have yeah we have Filippo here. It's like who likes thrillers, the genre of thrillers. Yeah, which is brilliant. Fiorella, comical. We do say comical. Comedy is more common. Comedy.
Yeah.
Comical is more for a situation.
Mm-hmm.
One more from Filippo. So we've got Phi Psi. So that's really great. It is a genre, but we normally put them the other way around. So we say sci-fi,
Ah,
sci-fi.
which he has corrected himself as well.
Ah,
He said it.
yes, I can see there now. Yes, perfect.
Very good.
And
Well,
yeah, brilliant. So sci-fi, which is the short form for science fiction.
mhm.
If anyone likes that, which
We've
is
got
great.
Isabella has also said that her favorite genre is action,
Hmm,
action movies.
action. Yeah, great answer there.
Very good, very
Yeah,
good. So, does anyone know
probably.
any other ones? Any other types of movies that we have in English? Hmm. It's like oftentimes it's kind of important to know the difference between the types of movies, the different genres
Mhm.
that we have. Otherwise, you might give the wrong impression to someone if you tell someone
Absolutely.
that it's a thriller movie and then they go and it's a sci-fi. Maybe the difference there is not so bad, but maybe
Hmm.
a thriller to a comedy might be a bit of a strange shock to someone.
Absolutely. That is sometimes a problem with the trailers of movies as well, the previews that you can see. Maybe sometimes they look very, very comic, and actually the film isn't itself.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
well, we have some more from Filippo here. I think Filippo is very interested in films. So we
Yeah.
have horror, which is great, and documentaries, which are about facts, of course, and not invented stories, and also musicals. Yeah. I think
Love me a good
you like
musical.
musicals, I know, Carl.
Love me a good musical.
Do you have a favorite musical?
Oh, yeah, my favorite musical is In the Heights. Um,
Ah,
it's a musical that they are making a movie of this, and it's coming out in summer.
amazing. Is that Lin-Manuel Miranda, the
It is, yeah.
the writer of Hamilton? Some of you might
Go
know
on,
Hamilton.
yeah. So they're making that movie, and I'm very excited.
I'm also excited about that. I don't know it, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right,
Mm.
let's see genres that we couldn't maybe think of. Right, here we go. We have fantasy. We have, oh God, this has happened again. Hold on, sorry. I have to remove that and bring it back. So maybe, so we said they're fantasy, Emily. Can
Mhm.
you tell the difference between, because sometimes people get confused between fantasy and sci-fi.
Mhm.
Maybe can you explain what's the difference between fantasy and sci-fi for
Yeah,
anyone
that's
who
a really good
doesn't know?
question and an important difference. So, normally, sci fi is
Mm,
something possible in our world as it exists now. Maybe if there is a new invention or something changes in the future. And fantasy is
mhm,
maybe strange creatures, strange animals, things that do not exist in reality. So, for example, The Lord of the Rings is fantasy and not sci-fi. I think that is the main difference. So the main thing is science in science fiction. So it isn't something true, but it is based on reality. It's inspired by reality. I think a lot of things about coronavirus seem quite seem quite sci-fi. There will be people writing about it, I'm sure. And while we wait for the screen, our Cahill has disappeared for a moment, but we can continue talking. So we talked about the difference between sci-fi and fantasy. Maybe tell me, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer stories based on facts, or do you prefer more stranger stories, or things that are more fantastic, more weird? Please let me know there. So I will try to get the screen, but while I load that, I will keep talking about different genres. So we also have romances. So romance is another genre that we have. Let me know if you like those. Maybe you enjoy seeing films about love, or maybe you don't so much. I know I prefer films that are romance and something else personally. So Filippo, we have a real movie, the coronavirus. Yes, I think there will be people in Milan filming that story very soon, I'm sure. Really, really good there. So I will try to get the screen. I'm sorry about this. I think Carl is returning to us. So we have fantasy and cartoon here, the differences between those. Great question, Isabella. So cartoon is about the style. So it's an animated film. Yeah. So cartoon is the same as an animation, but normally and normally a cartoon is shorter than a full length animation. Maybe an animation is a whole film. So I think you mentioned Madagascar earlier. So Madagascar is an animation, and a cartoon is like a very short one. That's a really great question there. And a cartoon can be about fantasy things, but they can also be more realistic. It's a really great question there. Carl is back with us.
I don't know what happened there. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
There is always some problem. So,
yeah. I don't know what was going on.
Yes, Philippa, The Simpsons is a cartoon. We were just talking about the difference between cartoons and fantasy, and different types of animated films. Do you enjoy animated films, Carl?
Oh, I love, I grew up watching Disney films, so I love animated films. Very, very cool.
Do you also like the more modern Disney films, what they call live action ones with real actors?
I don't know. I mean, part of me still likes the originals better, but it's also nice to see these films to be remade. We're getting remade for new audiences, so that younger people can enjoy it.
I agree. Yes, I think I prefer the new stories that Pixar and other companies make.
Yeah.
Instead of making the same stories again, personally.
Yeah. Very unoriginal, you know?
Yes. So I think we mentioned all of these genres on the screen now. We also talked about romance while you disappeared. Yeah. So we also have this final question for you guys in the audience. So which adjectives describe your favorite film? So please tell us. Some of you mentioned your favorite film. Please tell us how you can describe it.
Yeah. So
how can you
describe? Sorry, my film. You were
yes, Ocean's. Yeah. How could you describe Ocean's 11?
So I guess, seeing as it's a heist movie, or I guess a thriller of sorts, I would say it's quite exciting, and action packed.
Good word, yeah.
It's maybe a new phrase for the guys at home.
Definitely.
But action packed. I mean, packed with action, so lots of action included in it. Yeah, exciting, maybe mysterious, possibly. I could use, and funny for sure. Funny, very funny.
Yeah, I think those are all really good words for that film. Yeah.
What about you? What about the red shoes?
So the red shoes, I think also mysterious is a good word for the red shoes. You often don't know what is happening, what the significance of something is. Also, very, very visual. You have to watch the film quite carefully. You couldn't just listen to it. And yes, surprising also, though you never know what is going to happen next, which is quite unusual for a very old film, I think. Often they can be quite predictable. Yeah. Often you know what the story will be.
Yeah.
Right. So Fiorella, yes, Fiorella, you can absolutely describe a film as interesting or uninteresting. So. We are looking for more specific adjectives. Yeah, comical, absolutely. Comical is maybe more formal or more technical. We'd probably say funny if you want to talk about something that makes you laugh.
And perhaps instead of saying uninteresting, we would say, so Filippo, you mentioned there bored. Now, we wouldn't say bored because bored is the term that we use in English for your emotions, for what you feel. So maybe when you watch a particular film, you are bored. But if you want to describe that film, you would say it's boring. So not bored, but boring. So anytime you have those ed endings, like excited or interested, those are for your emotions. Whereas the ing endings, like boring, exciting, interesting, these are used for the description. All right.
Yeah, and this is a really useful difference for films because sometimes you want to describe the film, sometimes you want to describe your feeling about the film. So that's a really good point there. We had mediocre from Fiorella, which is a really great word. I love that word.
Love a bit of mediocrity.
We do not use that word enough. So well done. Yeah.
I always aim to give people the most mediocre lesson of their lives. If I can do that, then I have succeeded in something.
Well, there are lots of mediocre films, maybe ones that you watch and enjoy, but then afterwards forget immediately.
Exactly, yeah. They're kind of films that you watch for the sake of watching them.
Yeah. Maybe when you're very tired in the evening, you watch something mediocre.
Yeah. All right. So here we have our next slide now. So we have some questions and some terms to get to. So, Emily, do you want to take that one?
Yes, I just want to mention the comments before I go there. So you're right, Filippo, you can say, I've got bored. You probably say, I am bored, or I was bored, rather than I've got. It's more common just to use past simple, just I was bored there. And Fiorella, exciting is another great adjective. Another example of exciting for the film, for the situation, and for your feeling excited. So a really good example there. So now this is one of my favorite pictures in a slide. I think this one, it's a wonderful picture. So this is about more specific details about a film. So it takes place in. So where does something happen? Where does it occur? So where does a film take place? What location is the film? And when does it take place? What is the time period or the era that it is? Okay, so the answer normally begins with it takes place in. So it's just saying this is the moment of the film. This is the location of the film. Okay, so maybe we will pause to discuss some answers to this question. If you would like to answer the questions in the comments, please do, to give us some details about your favorite film. Carl, where does Ocean's 11 take place?
So Ocean's 11 takes place in a few different places, but mainly in America.
Yes, I can't remember any more specifically either than that. Yeah. And when does it take place? Can you hear us, Carl? I think he might be having some technical issues again, so we will try to continue
And
with that. You can hear. Okay, we had a problem for a second, I think.
you again, connection.
Okay.
Was I like frozen,
Great.
or could you see me for that time, or was I frozen?
You were frozen, so I'm
Okay.
not sure what was happening there.
Thank God, otherwise you just have heard me like swearing not on my computer.
Yes, well, we have all been there. I'm sure the students will forgive us. We have a comment from Filippo. So, so Chicago in 2004, maybe a more specific location for Ocean's 11 there. Yeah,
There you go.
it's great.
Thank you very much, Filippo. And
Okay.
Emily, what about you? What about your film?
Well, it takes place in again different places, but mostly in London, and the time period is not very specific, but at some point, maybe just after World War II, so maybe about 70 years in the past, similar to the time period it was made in, but because it's kind of a fantasy film, often fantasy films are very unspecific about time and place.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have some key words, some important words, but not the complete questions for the final part of the slide. So we have main actors or stars. Stars is just another word for the most important people in a film. So this is not the complete question. If you would like to give us the main question, please do. So we have, Fiorella, absolutely. You can say Madagascar takes place. Remember an S there, takes place. And the preposition is on an island, normally there. So it's just a different preposition, but absolutely, that location is really great. So, Carol, could you give us the full question for main actors?
Yeah. So depending on what type of film it is, if there's one or two, we could say if there are more than one, or if there's more than one, sorry, we could say who are the main actors, or who is the main actor. Again, who are the stars? Who is the star of the film? So who are the main actors? I'll write that one down.
Yeah, and a point about actors, you can use that for men and women. In the past, it was more common to say actresses for women, but it's becoming more common now to just say actors for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So for my Ocean's 11 one, I could say the main actors of Ocean's 11 were George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Matt Damon, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for you, Emily?
For me, they are not very famous now, but the main actors are someone called Moira Shearer, and I think his name is I'm struggling to remember his name. Anton Walbrook, I think his name is. Really, really underrated actor, an actor people should know about but don't know about. That's what underrated means.
All right. Now, Fiorella here is saying that the main actor is a lion called Alex. Now, Fiorella, we need to say, for example, that actor is different to character. So the actor is the person like Brad Pitt or George Clooney. But the character. So George Clooney plays Frank Ocean. So the character is Ocean, but the actor is George Clooney. And so the main is a lion called Alex, but the main actor is, I think, from Madagascar, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. Yes, I can't remember. Yeah, that's a good.
So
that's an important difference.
It's the profession job, whereas the character is in the movie, invented or not invented. Okay. So I guess you could say what the actor is the real person, or the person outside of that.
Yeah. Okay. We have a really good question from Filippo here, so I will put it up. So, do we use the past describing cast or actors, or do we have to use the present? The answer is you can use either. I believe I use them interchangeably. Probably more commonly we use the present, but you can choose. For characters, then I would always use the present. But for the actors, because the film was made in the past, you can use the past or the present.
Yeah,
really good question there.
The film still exists, the film is still out there. So you can use either one, because you can say it was made, and they were the actors when the film was released, but the film is still available now, so you can still say the main actor is.
Yeah.
All right.
So so the final question is about the director, the person who makes the decisions, or most of the decisions in the film. So the question there is, who is the director? Very similar to the previous question. Or, like we said before, who was the director as well, if you are talking about the making of the film or putting the film in a historical context. Okay, so again, that's really the difference between the two tenses.
All right, so let me put that one there. Who directed the film, or who is the director?
Yeah. And who is the director for Ocean's 11?
Oof. That's a great question. I think it was. I used to always mix it up, because I used to always think it was Steven Spielberg, but
no,
I remember it's Steven Soderbergh.
I think it's Steven Soderbergh. Yeah. But there are too many Stevens, I think.
Too many Stevens directing, Who knew?
Too many Johns and too many Stevens. It's a general rule in most professions in English.
Exactly. So I think, so we say Steven Soderbergh directed Ocean's 11. And what about you? Who directed The Red Shoes?
Actually, there were two directors for The Red Shoes. They were called Powell and Pressburger. So I do not remember the first names, but they were known together as Powell and Pressburger, and they made lots of films together.
Pretty cool duo name, I have to say, Powell and Pressburger.
I know.
Really cool.
Yes, and I really do recommend any of their films to everyone. Any of their films at all.
Gotta get the recommendation in.
Has to be done. Of course.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, if you guys want, you can ask any questions now. If you're confused. There we go. Thank you very much, Filippo. Yeah, Steven Soderbergh. Nice.
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent spelling there as well. I don't know if Google was used in that, but excellent spelling.
Steven with a V, because you can also spell Steven with a PH as well.
Yeah. Oh God, so many permutations, Even like I remember listening to a comedian, an English comedian. I think it was Michael McIntyre. Who said Stephen, and then Stephen also because you can write it step hen basically. So he's
Yes, that's true.
step hen and not Stephen,
Oh no.
Really, really embarrassing. Oh, here we go. Fiorella says the directors are Eric Darnell and Tom McGrath of Madagascar. So we would probably reorder that, Fiorella. So you could say the directors of Madagascar are Eric Darnell and Tom McGrath.
Yes, and if the film doesn't have the at the beginning, you don't need to insert one, okay? So the film is just Madagascar, so we don't need the there.
Google.
Okay, I think we have some more audio issues. I am very sorry about this. So I'm sure Cal will return to us in a second, but for now, I'll read the slide about. Okay, you're back. Can you hear us, Cal?
I'm back.
No, no, you're okay. I think you're back with us. We can hear you now.
Fantastic.
Okay, great. So I was just going to read this slide. So we're talking about the story of the film. So what is the plot? So what is plot? What does the word plot mean?
So the word plot is used to talk about the story.
Yes, exactly. The events of a film with a plot. So we will come back to that. I believe, yes, Fiorella, the translation is trauma, I believe, yes. Okay.
I might have the coronavirus in my computer, Filippo. I don't know yet.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, great questions there. Okay, so we also have the question, what happens in the end? Maybe this is what we call a spoiler, something that gives important information away. So maybe we won't give many answers to this question. So I'll just write the spelling of that for you. Okay. We also have other features of the film. We have the soundtrack and special effects. So soundtrack is just all the music used in the film, and that can be music that you know already, or it could be composed specifically for the film, and it depends on the film what happens there. Do you remember the soundtrack of Ocean's 11, Carl?
I don't remember the soundtrack, but I would imagine it's something along the lines of I know there was some sort of like jazzy kind of bluesy kind of stuff that was going on, and very kind of the typical kind of heist movie soundtrack, I guess. You remember the one for the Red Shoes?
Yes, the soundtrack is quite important in the Red Shoes because it's about a ballerina and a composer as well, someone who writes music. It's quite classical. Yeah, I am not very good with music, so I don't know more specifically than that. But it's nice. It's nice music.
I just looked up there that David Holmes was the composer for the soundtrack. So
right,
a composer.
Okay, yeah. interesting. And as I said, some films use more existing music. So a famous example of that is The Graduate, if anyone knows that film, which very, very famously uses music from the band Simon and Garfunkel, who were very popular when that film was made. So it can be written for the film, it can be existing music. The word is the same.
So I'll say there that the composer is the person who writes the music.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that can be for a film or any piece of music at all. So you have a composer for an opera or for a ballet, for anything that needs music.
Mm-hmm. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at the vocabulary now. I think we've got some vocabulary matching to do here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we can all see that there.
Perfect. Okay.
So we have some vocabulary here, guys. These are, like we said, associated with films or movies, and they're generally the key information that we look for when we're asking about a film. Okay. So we have, first of all, the title of the film is?
It is the name of the film. Okay, I think we have another moment of pause there. I think Cathal will come back in a second. The coronavirus hits again. So Filippo, I would like to mention your comment. So we have soundtrack was composed from Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. I think Cathal is back now. So I want to just mention the difference between composing and performing. So in this comment, the soundtrack was performed by the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. Okay, so they are the ones who played the instruments to create the music, but they did not write the music. The music existed already. Okay. We also need the preposition by there, not from. So it was performed by that orchestra. But well done. I'm guessing that you Googled that. Thank you for that comment. Okay. So I think we are back to our vocabulary. Carl, would you like to take the next one?
Yeah, of course.
Your French pronunciation.
I'll try not to use this. Oh God, here we go. Genre.
Perfect.
So
okay, so
the genre is the type.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. The setting, guys, is
the setting is when and where the film takes place. And just like we said, takes place, you can also say something is set somewhere, yeah, which is exactly the same as it takes place.
Mm-hmm. The soundtrack, as we just discussed, is the music of the film. The is the person who makes it.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, the plot is the story of the film.
Yeah, so you can use all of these words to help describe a film if you want to talk about something there. Okay, I think we are almost out of time now. Cathal, did you have any final comments you wanted to make?
I don't think so, because if I try to say anything else, I might get cut off again. So I feel like yes. I'll just say thank you very much, guys, to Filippo, Fiorella, Alex, everybody for getting involved.
Yes, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you guys so much for helping us out, to Isabella as well, for contributing, and Federico, of course. So everyone for just kind of taking part. It really makes our experience great, and I hope it makes your experience better.
Absolutely. Thank you all for commenting. We love to hear everything you want to say, and I hope you can have a good evening now. Go and watch a film.
Exactly,
And
guys.
use this language to talk about it. So have a good evening, guys. Bye.
Bye, bye, guys.